Well, new details for you tonight at 10. More than 2 months after a mother and her 2-year-old son disappeared, the FBI is now involved. Now, this is a photo of Sophia Dam and her son Mateo, and they have not been heard from since June 24th. That's according to her family. Sumter police found Dam's car outside of her home on June 26th, just a couple of days later, but said no one was there. If you have any information about their disappearance, contact Crime Stoppers of the Lowcountry at 888-CRIME-SC. Meanwhile, the suspect who stabbed another man to death in an abandoned home entered a guilty plea. 23-year-old Matthew Shope was initially charged with murder in the attack of Joey Lott in 2021. Now, the two were hanging out at a house on William Street in Spartanburg. The victim's stepmother came into the home to find Shope stabbing Lott. Lott died at the hospital and left behind 3 children. Shope pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison.